Welcome to Call to the Pen, episode 7. I just wanted to touch on, Steve. Let's recap for the last couple weeks in baseball. Good thing you're not a betting man because you would be broke. So,
That's the reason why I don't
Astros
bet.
not so good.
That's right. Who else did I say? I said I didn't think the Giants are going to be great, and they're only on an 8-game winning streak since the last time we chatted about this. So,
Pass the Dodgers. They passed the Dodgers, and I was right about the Dodgers. Their bullpen sucks
the Dodgers
right now.
bullpen's struggling for sure. But hey, like the Cubs, maybe their bullpen can turn it around too. Who knows? Cubs have won their last. They're 8-10 their last, or 8-2 the last 10. The Cubs are, so they turned it around quite a bit. But yeah, I don't know, man. Dodgers pen.
What do you got on that? Deadline. I mean, let's talk about that because they spent no money into the offseason on their pen, and normally they go and spend money. They gave Trinan money last year to guarantee him because they knew he was going to have surgery. So, but they knew they weren't going to have him, and they let Craig go. But Craig wasn't great last year, but now he's pretty good this year. Well, and they let Kenley go, so they thought they would just wing it.
Yeah, I think Dodgers fans put their foot in their mouth, and what's funny is, I get it. Like Kenley has had his struggles here and there, but he's been probably the best, closer in the league for him and Kimbrel. I would say Craig's kind of not what he used to be, of course, but he's still formidable. But he's been solid and I'd say he's been elite his whole career, and every time he blows a save, it's just like get rid of this guy. This guy's been solid for you for your whole career. Like I get it, he's had some rough patches here or there, but guess what? The greatest closer of all time went through a rough patch. I think I saw he blew like 6 games in a season, Mariano. And he's the greatest of all time. Like it happens. You just gotta ride.
I only average 3 blown saves a year, so I guess I should have been closers more often.
Yeah, you're elite for sure.
Analytics said no, but
yeah, the computers don't like sinker ball guys unless you throw a hundy. So
no, I'm trying. No, I'm working on my box jump. Maybe I'll get there. Well, yeah, you know how hard it is to be so good every year, and Kenley and Craig were so you still had rough patches. Even Kenley's rough patches were still great seasons for anyone.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to pull up his numbers, I guess, since you brought it up. I can't help myself. But, dude, he's been so good. For the most part, you knew the game was over when he came in the game, at least 90% of the time. It's just it is what it was. He's just that good. And so for him to get just demolished as bad as he had, by Dodgers fans, just always just dumbfounded me.
Well, now they're in third place, and they're what are they, 7 back from the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So Kenley this year, by the way, has a 3 ERA with a 1.4 WHIP. WHIP's a little higher than we like, but
that's pretty high.
I mean, still having a pretty solid year. I mean, the Red Sox are in last place, but they're also in the best division of baseball. So it's kind of but he's 15 for 18 this year. And save opportunities, not terrible. And I bet you the Dodgers would be glad and welcome him with open arms. Maybe at the trade deadline he comes back. So
well, the blown save stat is hard now because you get a blown save in extra innings with a runner on second.
Dude, so hear me out. I mean, we've probably talked about it a ton over the last years, but of all the rule changes and stuff like that, if you go extra innings with a guy on second, you won't get credited. It won't tack on your ERA if the first run doesn't score, but you'll still get a loss. Okay, that's a stupid rule. But you know what's even dumber rule is if you get a blown save in the third inning, if your team has lead because your starter gets hurt or something like that, and you happen to give up a bases loaded double. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's just, for me, I think that's a stat that needs to be overlooked. And how about 3 or less runs? It should be a save, and that's it. In the 9th inning.
Yeah, it's got to be 9th inning only. Though coming in the 6th inning, bases loaded, no outs, blown save is absolutely ridiculous. That year with the Cubs in 19, they said we had so many blown save opportunities, but most of them were probably in middle relief, and you gave up a sac fly with 1 out and it tied the game. That's a blown save. That's just not even cool.
Right. Totally. Yep. So those can get blown out of proportion. I mean, so I'm not as worried about those, but again, I haven't watched every one of Kenley's saves either this year, but I know his stuff is back to being elite.
No, he looks good to me. I mean, looks better than most of the Dodgers relievers.
Mm-hmm.
And even I'm sure the Braves would love to have him back too.
Dodgers lost 3 straight, 4 and 6 in their last 10. I mean, good teams go through rough patches like that. Don't get us wrong. But the Red Sox, on the other hand, have won 5 straight and are 7-3. You know, they're now trending upwards. Where Toronto's now falling back. Like, dude, that division is gonna be fun to watch by the end of the year.
Yeah, Toronto just got their butt kicked by Miami, so another NL East beast, and they got a guy hitting 400 on their team, and Soler's hitting bombs, and Miami's got pitching for days. Like, baseball's tough. It's tough to win in the big leagues, man.
Yeah, totally, dude. And Miami, like you said, 5 in a row, 7-3 in the last 10. Arias is now over 400, I believe. He went 5 for 5 yesterday again. Did you play with him?
No.
Or was that before you?
Thank God I didn't have to hit a pitch against him either.
You know what's funny? So here we go. How do you attack a hitter like that? I have a philosophy.
I'll throw it right down the middle. Hopefully hits a ground ball at second base.
Boom. One pitch or less. Yeah. So I played with David Fletcher in 2021. And he's the same. He's just, you can't strike him out. I mean, he's unbelievable bat to ball skills, and he's not going to hit the ball out of the park. So he's like, how would you face me with your crappy stuff? And I was like,
crappy
thanks.
Stuff.
He's a punk. He's hilarious though. I love the guy. And I was like, dude, I just throw a sinker right down the middle. Either you're going to beat it straight into the ground, or you're going to hit a little duck fart single to the right side. He thought it was hilarious. Well, I got to face him last year, and I got him to 2 strikes somehow. And I'm just throwing him nothing but singers. My 0-2 pitch was right down the pipe. I mean, I just let him hit it. I didn't even care. I know I'm not going to strike him out. He just hit a little flare to right for an out. So I don't think he saw it. I was kind of staring at him down the line. Yeah, no kidding. But I'm like, dude, what's the point in even trying to strike you out? I'm wasting pitches at this point. Who cares?
Yeah.
So yeah, Arias, dude, it's like, here it is. You know, down and away.
But he's hitting stuff over his head to left field. He's hitting stuff off the ground. Barrios would just, after his second or third at bat, looked at him and just laughed. Like, I got nothing for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, why waste it? I'm just saving bullets. You know, if you're going to get on, here it is. Or you're going to hit it to somebody.
That was my career, saving bullets. I'm going to throw this down the middle. I hope you hit a ground ball at somebody. Thanks. And if it goes through the hole, it goes through the hole. Hopefully the next guy hits a ground ball at somebody.
I wish the game was like that more. Like, there's more guys that pitch to contact. But I get it. I get it why the evolution's changed. Everyone's trying to launch homers. But, I mean, that's why we're able to throw day in and day out. We always, kept our pitch count relatively low, where we're actually able to be fresh the next day. Yeah. Something we didn't cover with Cressy. But, I mean, that was...
Well, think about, if you're trying to strike out Arias, you just wasted 10, 11 pitches. Like, if you do tip your cap, anyway, you got lucky, but just throw it right down the middle. Like, there's obviously a high 40% chance he gets a hit right now. So just throw it down the middle with a little sink and move on.
Totally. And then you got Cincinnati, dude.
Let's go.
Last 9.
America's team, they're saying right now.
Ever since they called De La Cruz up. Yeah, is that right? America's team?
Yeah.
Fueled by Skyline Chili.
I want Ellie. If anyone out there has an Ellie De La Cruz like green refractor, red refractor card, super fractor, that'd be amazing. I want to buy it, and so hit me up.
If Gintz is rich, he'll pay a lot of money for
it. I'm trying to get richer off of these cards from these kids.
If you subscribe and follow and tag 3 people, he'll give you one of his own baseball cards. Brandon will.
I will, and a jersey. Let's get us some subscribers. Like, let's go. Me and C, get us to 500 subscribers, and me and C-Shek will sign balls and send jerseys.
Absolutely. If we get to 500, I'll shine. If you're a golfing person, I'll refinish an old pink putter, send it your way as well as a thank you.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. I got into the business. Still learning.
Get us to 1,000 subscribers, and we will show up and play golf with you, and you see me beat Steve on one leg.
By the way, it looks like I went golfing today. Totally didn't. Went out to lunch at a show golf course and didn't even get to play, but it was still nice.
You're on that dad outfit now. You probably tuck in your shirt too when you go out.
I did for that. Yeah. It was required at the club. my best friend here's the chef at this really nice golf course. He's like, yeah, you got to tuck in your shirt and stuff. I'm like, oh man, I thought I was past all
Oh,
that.
that's great. Anyway, let's
All
go back
right,
to the Reds. Let's go back to
yeah,
Joey Votto coming back. The old man.
yeah. I mean, so before, yeah. So I guess this ties into Joey Votto. You're the Reds. You're a young team, right? How do you handle the success as a team? If you're like a veteran guy, like what are you doing? I think you would touch on it with Votto. You guys probably have the same mindset with us. Like, how are you
Yeah, I
handling
think
this?
with Joey, I think Joey's going to come into that and he's just going to sit back and have fun until they hit that rough patch. And that's when Joey's going to have to come. And Joey's going to keep it fun because, he's comfortable in his own skin now. So he's going to keep him fun and relaxed, and he's going to still put in the work because they're going to see his work ethic no matter what, and he's not going to panic. The guy's been through it all. And I think that's like I was watching MLB Central this morning, and Mark DeRosa was talking about that. This is the perfect guy for that team to come back right now because obviously they're on a heater. They're going to hit a rough patch because that's part of 162.
Yep.
And luckily they're in the Central, which the Central is, both Centrals are just not very good right now. So hopefully the rough patch isn't bad and they'll get right back on the horse. I mean, Cincinnati's, it's tough to play in. Like as a visitor, you're in the crappy West End and they're playing that loud music across the way with very flashing lights, and it's tough to sleep there as a visiting team. Like
8 in the morning.
Like the whole city against
pumping.
you.
Yeah. It's pumping into your room.
Oh, 11:30 at night. They're just, it's so loud and so bright. And you're hoping you don't have bed bugs.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I thought you guys stayed in show hotels. Oh, it's show for the area. It's a Westin that just happens to not be very Westerny. But
Rizzo had his own bed there. They kept it in storage. They'd bring his own bed.
Are you kidding me?
I swear.
I didn't know that. Oh, some things happened at the Westin though when we played together.
What?
Do you remember? Someone get breakfast for 6 at 6 o'clock in the morning there?
That was in Washington. Oh yeah, that wasn't that. That's how it started.
Yeah, that was in Cincinnati. We're all in Jay Hayes' room. Team.
That's right.
Team hangout.
I left early because I was tired.
All right, quick before we get back in with the Reds. Yeah, go ahead.
So the team hangout, and I'm trying to be like the responsible old guy player. I'm going to bed, and I get 6 o'clock wake up call, knock on my door, and I'm heated. Like, well, I guess I wasn't answering, and then they called my room, and they're like, "Your breakfast." I was like, "I didn't order any breakfast." I was like, "Well, it's there." I'm like, "Fine." Found out because you get to the field. Hey, how was your breakfast?
It wasn't me. It was Chatwood. But it was a combined effort. Let's say. Yeah.
Oh man, I was mad. I was so mad.
So he leaves early from we just watched baseball, having pizza, Donato's Pizza up in Jay Hayes' room, and we're like, oh, we should order Kent's an early breakfast for 6. And I was like, oh my dude, he will lose his mind. Do it. So we got security. So Kent's complains or something, and we have security footage of Chatwood walking down the hall with the door hanger, made it into a T-shirt, breakfast bandit, wanted. I mean, it was incredible. We have to get Chatwood on for that story, though. I don't want to.
We do. And then I tried to repay you in Washington, D.C. I ordered you breakfast super early, and somehow, did you catch it on the door?
Oh, I didn't tell you. Rizzo caught it on the door, called me, and was like, hey, Kent's trying to get you. I'm like, thanks, good looking out. And so because it wasn't me that set you up, I thought you should pay a price for it. So I set you on a scavenger hunt around Wrigley for your clothes.
Yeah, we need video of that scavenger hunt for sure.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that again. But anyways, fun story. Let's talk about the Reds. Well, so Votto, he brings some continuity when things start going south, but also level-headedness. Like, as you know, dude, if you're riding the high and you're too high on yourself, the game humbles you real quick.
So fast.
Oh, and it's just relentless. And so that's where the Vottos come in, and the veteran guys to be able to bring some continuity, some experience to the situation. Bring the team together, take guys under their wing, and get back.
Take them out to dinner. They need the super rich guy to take them all to dinner and have come. That's where it's at. The team dinners.
Yep, camaraderie, exactly. That's what the good teams, the best teams I've played on, do. They're just always stuck together with things like that. so that when the bad times, they don't feel as bad as normal. But when you're on teams that aren't as tight, it's like, this is brutal.
Yeah, like after tough losses, tough stretch, Votto's going to be like, sun's going to come up tomorrow. Anyways, let's go out to dinner. Taking everyone out to dinner. And everyone forgets that you just lost 3 or 4 in a row and you're lost the division lead. But then you show up tomorrow and you're just like excited to play because you've all just hung out.
Yep, totally. You know what's funny?
Those are the things I miss. It's not the actual pitching part. It's like that part, the fun part of camaraderie and grinding together.
Exactly. So I love the competition stuff, but when you can grind together a win and then put together like a string of wins, it just feels so good. Like you're just, man, you're a big part of something special. It feels like that's brewing, and especially in Cincinnati, dude, they haven't had a winning season in so long now. Especially Votto, right? Like he was on some really good teams early on in his career, and now he's kind of grinded through some last 10 years or so.
Yeah, with some injuries the last 2 or 3, so he hasn't been very healthy. So it's tough to be the highest paid guy in a last place team, and you're not producing, and then you're not playing.
And then this year comes around, and it's like it just kind of rejuvenates you, especially as an older guy. It's like, as you said, like it's like, let's roll. This is most fun, most
I'm excited for them.
atmosphere I've had.
Hopefully they. Because when that city and that stadium start to get such a small, you're scared of pitching it anyway to give a fly ball. So when that stadium gets loud. I remember in my earlier career, that was when they were really good, and it was loud.
Yeah, they got good fans there.
Yeah, they do.
When they show up and stuff
all the time.
Well, they stunk for a long time. I don't blame them. But when the team's good, like when they start showing up, like you said, it's loud in that thing. And that's like top 3 places I hated pitching. Like the stadium was fine, but I mean, it's a launching pad. And so there's no mound. There's a flat mound, and I just hated it. But, I got through.
And now look at Pittsburgh. No fans show up in Pittsburgh now. They're under 500. So there went that.
7. They lost 7 in a row.
7 in a row?
Yeah.
When they won, when they started off so hot, they're like, oh my gosh, we're so good. Let's give the manager an extension. Let's give everyone an extension. And now you're under 500. Now what? Well,
they started off hot, slumped, and then they went hot again, and now they're back. It's like the roller coaster of roller coasters right now for them, it seems like. Yeah, but you know what's funny is I was going to say earlier, like Cincinnati, like I hated playing against them for some reason. I don't know why. I just wanted to beat them all the time. But now I'm like rooting for them, like especially because of the Vottos. Like I want him to have I want him to make the playoffs again and have that experience again. I always root for the older guys that have had great careers and not a ton really to show for it in terms of what his team has done. Yeah,
everyone's like, oh, he's a borderline Hall of Famer, but I think, man, we wanted the guy to be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best hitters that I've ever faced. I don't know if that's saying much, but he's still a really good hitter.
Phenomenal.
Good player. Phenomenal person. Like he's hilarious.
Like I could, I love what he does for the game with like the fans. He's so interactive with them and stuff. You don't see that a lot because guys are kind of reserved. They don't want to get like too close to fans. He's like, I'm all in.
Yeah. I think he's noticing like as you get older, like I just got to enjoy this on my way out. I'm just going to have as much fun as I can and not take it too serious.
Mm-hmm. He'd be great post playing career on air. Like I would enjoy. He'd be the Tony Romo of football. I feel like he'd be really fun to listen to.
100%. Even though people hate Tony Romo now, but
I know. I don't know. I like listening to him, anyways.
I love listening to him.
So
how about the Yankees? Not so good.
Oh, all right, go to Yankees. Yeah, we had Eric.
Let's go to the Yankees because I just don't think they're very good, and we didn't get to tell Cressy that last week.
Their bullpen's still really good, though.
Their bullpen's good. They just don't have. If Judge is out of the lineup, it's like Alvarez for the Astros. If Judge is out of the lineup, they just can't do anything. Like ever since he's been out, Rizzo's hitting like under 200. Everyone's slumping.
Yeah, I mean, but they're a roller coaster style team too. Like the problem is they don't have the luxury to lose, 4 or 5 straight here or there in that division because every single game matters. There's literally no wiggle room.
The Rays will lose 1, win 5. It's tough to lose a series when that's going to happen.
I mean, you got 3 playoff teams arguably 4, but in that division, the 3 that would definitely make it, I think. So I don't know, man.
Oh man,
Hopefully
if
they
the
can piece it together.
Yankees don't make it, someone getting fired.
Oh, dude, the city will explode. Oh, imagine if the Yankees and the Mets don't make it, dude.
Oh
Sink.
my gosh, all that money, all that money, all that
Yeah,
hype. Speaking of
it's
someone should
tough.
get fired, what about the Cardinals?
Oh, they're on fire lately.
They've won 3 in a row. They're like
I say that
12 games under
loosely.
500.
Yeah, they're 4-6 or last 10. But I mean, damn, I mean, it's tough, man. Their lineup's still pretty good. They're just pitching, man. It's tough.
Pitching. Okay, let's talk about pitching. They gave Steven Matz a nice contract after he had one good year of his life a couple years ago. And they gave him all that money. And now he's not even in the rotation. Now he's in the bullpen. He still has like 2 years left after this.
I mean, he was pretty solid, dude. And they
He
needed a
was
lefty
good
starter
2 years ago for the Blue Jays out of nowhere.
Yeah. But you know how it is. Like
The
you
1 year
light
wonders.
up.
You can't bet on the 1 year wonders.
I mean,
You're
it's tough,
Mr.
though.
Positive guy. I get it.
No, it's tough though because he did have a really good year and like his stuff was like elite. You know what I mean? Like
It was good.
it's not like they were the only team bidding on him. You know what I mean? They had to like outbid every other team. So he played the market. Like it is what it is. So I mean, I don't have a problem with him getting the contract, but yeah, it's a bummer he's not, producing for him right now.
That guy's giving some bad contracts. Remember the Brett Cecil contract?
Yeah, I do. That was tough. You know what's funny? I was watching. Well, I remember last year they were struggling right up until the trade deadline, and they made those trades, and I'm like, what are they doing? And then they dominated. Was it last year they got Lester and those guys? Like they brought in guys with experience.
No, Lester retired. It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of 2 years ago. They brought in these older guys that had experience, and sure enough, boom.
They won the division last year.
They did. That's right.
Did they? Yeah, they had to play the Phillies. The Phillies were the wild card team.
Mm-hmm. So, but again, that division's just weak. So
that manager's gonna be fired pretty fast, pretty soon.
Ollie, I know. Is it his fault though? Like he doesn't have the. He has to take the blame for it.
They don't have Yachty. Who's going to keep the culture? Like we talk about this. Who keeps the culture going without Yachty? Wainwright's a starting pitcher. Starting pitchers can only go so far in a clubhouse.
True. Yeah. I mean, losing Yachty I think it's pretty evident that how much that guy meant to that team, right?
Yeah.
But everyone knows that he's just a different animal, man. All right, let's.
The Giants?
Well, yeah, let's talk about the Giants because I know the Rogers brothers, dude. I was looking them up the other day.
But this Rogers again is hot, like lefty Taylor Rogers, like hot. He comes in the second inning yesterday. I don't. They won. I get it. They came back and they won. But I got my $11 million best reliever coming in the second inning. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
What was the situation? Was there anyone on base, or was it open inning?
He had one guy on. He stranded one guy on.
I don't get it either. But then again, I'm sitting on a chair with a microphone in front of my face and not making any important decisions other than
but you're really rich sitting on that chair, so you know something.
So you're saying we need to manage a team?
This would be so easy, or at least make a team. Let us be a GM. It'd be so easy.
I feel like I can handle a bullpen. That's about it.
It can't be that hard. It really can't.
I just want to know how much like guys are actually managing, like a pitching coach and the manager, right? Like, are they actually doing the work, or is the front office calling down and be like, no, Rogers is in the game, second inning. We had this mapped out. The computer said so.
Let's get one of your GM friends on here, and they could tell us about that. And I want them to be brutally honest, and I don't want to have like politically correct answers either. Because I know for a fact in Philly, Joe Girardi was not making those pitching decisions because he even showed me the computer one day.
Ironically, that's the only person I think of that would ever talk to us, but I don't even think he wanted to do it. Sam's awesome, man.
Oh, yeah, we can't get Sam on here. That's probably not going to work out for me.
Maybe awesome. I'll just sit here with popcorn. Yeah. No, Sam's a good dude. Yeah, but San Fran, dude, they're killing it. And whether we like their managerial decisions or not, they've won 8 straight, but they lost Cobb.
I've heard really good things about Gabe Kapler, though, like through Bryce. Bryce was telling me a couple years ago what a great dude Gabe Kapler was. And obviously he was terrible in bullpen decisions, but as we know, it probably wasn't his decision. But man, I hated playing against him when he was in Philly because he made so many pitching changes. He made the game so long.
It's true. Yeah. Oh man, pitching change galore every game. So I feel like them and definitely not so much Tampa this year because Tampa's starting pitching is really good, but they would run guys out, relievers out all the time for openers. All that. I remember Sergio Romo opening games a lot, like when this whole thing first started, and then it kind of picked up steam, right?
Yeah, he started on that. Let's get him on here.
He'll probably come on. Yeah. So, I mean, apparently it works, but what's the problem with that? Like, can they sustain that? Can teams sustain that for an entire year?
I just don't think it works. I don't think it works. Obviously, I just don't think it works in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You need starting pitching. You need rested relievers, and you need starting pitching for playoffs. I think you can get your way through, like, to get you to some off days. It will work. Obviously, we see a lot of teams doing that when they have certain off days coming. It'll be a full bullpen day. Yeah. But I can't. Why are we using our best reliever in the second inning? I don't get it.
I don't know. When I was closing, there was arguments of reporters saying, the computer's metrics say that the closer should face the 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 hitters since it's the best hitters in the lineup. I'm like, well, don't you think the closer should get the most or the most important 3 outs of the game at the end too? Like, well, yeah, that's a good point. Like, that's the definition of a closer. They're the hardest 3 outs to get, no matter where you're at in the lineup. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm with you on that. I don't get it. And if your starting pitching isn't good enough, then now you got a farm system thing you got to worry about because you're not bringing up good enough guys, or you just didn't make the right moves in the offseason, or you just have bad luck and you're really injured. So, but that's also another way to injure everyone in your bullpen.
There's a lot of relievers that the Giants have lost. But if you look at like the media that says that, they've never pitched the 9th inning of their life and they had never felt that pressure. So they could just say, oh, that. Because a lot of times, when I was at 8th, or both of us were 7th or 8th inning guys, we always faced 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. But it's not like I felt like the weight of the world was on our shoulders. If you came out in the 9th, my hardest 9th inning is when I had to face 7, 8, 9. One, because those guys are scrappy. You probably can't get them out. Like, they're going to just give you great at bats, and they're going to hit flares to right or something. Like, I could never get those guys out. You give me 2, 3, 4, I'm getting you out all day. Yeah. Not all day, but most of the time.
Most of the time. My chances are better probably with the 7, 8, 9ers, though, let's be honest.
Yeah, those guys, I just never had a good feel against those guys. They always gave me tough at bats, and then they would flip the lineup over, and now I'm in trouble.
Well, exactly. That's what I was going to say. So, like, those guys get on base, it's like, oh, here we go. Like, I remember when we played the Brewers, like, if like the 7, 8, or 9 guy got on, then you got Kane, who's probably his on base percentage was incredible because he set himself up for Yelich, who was an MVP candidate in 18. It's like that was tough. And it wasn't not even if I was in the game watching other guys navigate that is like clockwork. Oh, Kane just got on base, he's getting driven in, or whoever was in front of him. Like it just puts so much pressure on the pitcher, man, and the defense. So you're totally right about that.
The greatest save of my life. This is where like probably changed my career a little bit. But 2016, we're in Boston. Gibson goes 8, so we're up 2-1, and then I'm facing 9-1-2. So it was a switch hitting, a little pinch hitting lefty, and then Pedroia, and then Bogarts, and then after Bogarts was Ortiz, and then Hanley. So of course, first guy infield chopper. You know when infield chopper happens, and you're on the road, like be safe and. Now Boston's starting to feel it. And then Pedroia pushed a base hit to right. So now we got first and second no outs. Bogart's 14 pitch at bat or something like that. It was an amazing at bat. Fouling off the best sinkers I had. Walks. So now the crowd's like shaking. And now Ortiz is up. Bases loaded, no outs, 1-run game. And pitching coach comes running out there and he's like smiling. I'm about to throw up. But you just feel like the ground shaking. And he's like, This is a double play dream right here. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, sinker down away. Ortiz, you're gonna roll it over. I'm like, okay. And I throw a really good sinker and he spits on it. And I'm like, oh gosh, 1-0. Like here it goes. Like this is either he's hitting it, something's happening right here. So I just elevated a little more and it just ran a little off the plate, rolled over to second base. It was a 4-2-3 double play. I thought I was gonna. I could not believe it. And it was, and then Hanley lines out to right, and I lost my mind. Like, could not believe I just got out of that. But after
That's
that, it
awesome.
was like I can get out of anything. And I only had one pitch. It was so hot that day. I usually don't throw sliders anyways, but my slider almost hit like Bogarts in the head. It was going all over the place. So everyone in the stadium knows I got one pitch and I got through it. And it was like, I think my confidence just soared after that. It was crazy.
Yep. It's like you can get one of the best left-handed hitters out in the league. Like I can get anybody out in any
100%.
situation.
I can't tell you how many times that at bat carried me through a tough situation when I was out there. Like I just if I get David Ortiz out in a crazy situation, I can get whoever this is out.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah.
So anyways, I just had to share that.
No, that's great, dude. I hope we get the video clip for that outing. I want to watch it.
Oh, we can get that. I remember the next day, Eddie Guardado was our bullpen coach. Eddie was I know him since my whole life, and he was so tough to impress. Like I can never get any compliment from this guy my whole life. And then he's just like, you go to play catch the next day, and he's just standing there against the wall, down the left field line in Boston. He's just like got his sunglasses on. He looks grumpy. I'm like, "What's up, Eddie?" He goes, "You showed me something yesterday." I'm like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "You showed me that no matter what, you had confidence in what you had." He goes, "Everyone in the stadium knew you only had one pitch, and you got out of it with your only one pitch, but you did not panic." I'm like, "Wow!" Like I actually impressed Eddie. Couldn't believe it. But after that, I was like, "Man, it just took off from there."
Yeah, that's a great story, dude. I love that. Yeah, man, you get that like one feeling, and that's all it takes. Like, let's say if you're a struggling, reliever or something like that, you get out of that one big jam, and you can just feel the ball coming out of your hand. Like I didn't have anything else, but my sinker was just launching out of my hand, and you're able to get it done. It's like, all right. And those are like when I'm struggling, like those are videos I go back to watching. Cause like, I'm like, dude, my stuff was terrible this day, except for one pitch. And like, look what this guy did to it. You know what I mean? Like, why am I being so hard on myself? This is ridiculous. And so sometimes, like you said, you just keep going back to that, like mentally. It's awesome.
Well, that's why you're there, though. That's why you're in there, because you have that pitch that got you there, probably. And you stay there because we can command it, and then you become really good if you can get other pitches. But if you have that one pitch, it's probably like your sinker or whatever. Maybe it was your slider that day, or your sweeper. But luckily for you, you were really good at commanding both of them on both sides of the plate.
Not every day.
No, but like you had one, but you were able to go to the one or the other. But if you had both of them, like it was like punchy, punchy, punchy. Steve does his strut off.
when I was younger, it was a lot easier. Let's say that to have both those pitches.
Then your hip, but if your neck was hurting, I knew we were going to have a good day. We always needed your neck to hurt for you to shove.
That's right. Isn't that weird though? Like when let's talk about that, and then we can cut it here. But when you're not feeling great, like something's ailing you, like you always pitch better. Like why is that? What do you think?
I think you focus more. Then it becomes the mental game, because anyone can pitch really good when they feel good. But we all know most of that game in there is between you and the hitter is the mental part, like who's going to give in.
Yep. It's like that Michael Jordan flu game, right? Like you just find whatever extra you have in you just for that one moment and just let it all ride.
Did you ever have a game where you came out and you're like, man, like I had nothing, but I just locked in mentally. Like I definitely focused my way through that inning.
I mean, I've had a bunch of them, especially towards the end of the career. Anything that stuck out. I think there was a game we were playing the Nats, the same game that I did the little big league thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a really good game for you. You carried us that game.
Well, I was grinding, dude, because I was one of the last man standing in the bullpen because our bullpen was, abused a little bit. Just got a lot of workload. And so it was hot out too. I don't know if you remember, but like my slider was just manageable. It was okay, but my sinker the two-seamer was taken off. Anyways, but after I got through the first inning and a third, I hit a wall. I'm like, uh-oh. Like I told Tommy I could go 3 innings today. I was a little overambitious, but I was just able to get through it. So when I had to go hit, I was like exhausted. Like I didn't even feel like hitting. Usually I try to launch. And so I just try to conserve as much energy, because that third inning I was gassed. And so I was like, it's either me or we go home, with an L. So let's just ride it out. And I just I don't know. I just went into a whole nother world, and that's what I'm talking about. Like when you don't feel your best. Like for me, my neck. If I knew my neck was killing me or my shoulder was barking, like, and it was more pain oriented than soreness, like I was able to like push through it harder because I'm like, I want it to hurt more. Like I want to just get through it
Right.
because this thing's not going to get any better. Like I don't care if I blow it out. Like I'm going to push it harder. And when you feel good, I didn't really have that extra for some reason because like I said, I felt great. So it was weird.
But would you try harder physically or mentally? You just be like a little more precise with what you were doing.
It was both. I think the precision came with how bad I felt. I'd be more amped up because I knew I felt terrible, so I had to step it up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So like I had a
I
little
love
bit
it.
extra adrenaline wise because I'm like the boys need me right now and I can barely get assigned the home plate. Like I
But
was
that's
like
how you
nervous
pitch over
energy.
700 games. That's how you do it. Like
Yeah.
probably 500 of those, you felt terrible.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's how
Something
you
like
do it.
that. Yeah.
That's a
Just get through
lesson
it.
learned for everyone up in the big leagues, or let's just say life, man. Like you're not going to wake up every day feeling great. You're not going to go to work feeling great all the time. Not everyone's going to be great at their job every day. Like no matter what your job is, it's tough to be on point every day. Like you just got to be mentally
Yeah.
tougher. Just grind, man. Like the time's going to go by. You just grind.
Yeah. No, totally. And I think we lose sight of what we need to be thankful for too. You wake up in the morning, there's a ton of things to be thankful for. Instead, we dwell on the negative stuff, right? Like I remember after an outing, man, like if I woke up the next morning, like after a bad outing and I was miserable, like it's
Yeah.
just a miserable state to be in. And we
Oh,
all do it. But then all of a sudden your kids come running down the stairs and they're like all happy to see you. You're like, all right, like
yeah.
it's fine,
Luckily, the
man. I'm just
kids
gonna get
saved
back to
that.
work.
Before
Yeah.
kids, because you have a bad outing, you blow the game, and you walk into the clubhouse. You just know, you just have a feeling everyone's staring at you. Like, really, you blew the game for us yesterday. Like, you
And no
suck.
one's like that though.
Like it, but no one's
Very
thinking
few
that. But
people.
you just had a feeling like that.
Oh, totally. Especially after the game. I walk on eggshells. I can't make eye contact with anyone. I'm like, dang, I was the result of this L here. But then the hitter
Yeah,
could say the same thing. I had bases loaded of one out and I hit into a double play and ruined the game for everyone. Like
yeah.
everyone goes through it. That's why it's a team game, right? So we put too much pressure on ourselves and take too much blame for it.
Another thing about thankful, like yes, last week my agent Kevin, he's got a best friend Jeff. He's been like battling cancer for a while, and then all of a sudden, like last week, one night he went to dinner with him. The guy said best he's ever felt, feels great. Next day he was gone.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm
It's
like.
just,
And then I texted him, and he's just like, he was just, but he said I never lived a mile from him for 50 years. He goes, you always know someone you could trust and count on. He goes, now it's like I don't know where he's at. Like it's just crazy. Like some of the perspective, a lot of perspective right there.
no, for sure. Can't take those good days for granted for sure.
Yeah. So we'll end it right here, but we need some more subscribers. Let's get more people listening. Everyone click and follow, subscribe on either our YouTube, probably our YouTube, but either thing, share it. We want to be able to send some autographs, have fun with our subscribers. We're just doing this for fun. So hopefully entertain you guys and teach you something about maybe life or baseball that we experience. And maybe you guys can teach us something. So if you want to be a caller in, or you want to be on our podcast, or you want to answer some or give us some
Absolutely.
questions, please hit us up. We'd appreciate it.
Yep. Well said.